Welcome back. In today's video, I've got a book. I've got a book of all the questions that come forward to the channel, and hopefully one day I'll get through all of those and create videos for all of them. But one that stood out today was turning points. That was offered by a viewer, Carol, and it was simply asking me, what was your turning points in your journey up to this point? So in this video, we're going to be discussing that. So the turning points are going to be right the way back. I'm going to have to go right the way back into the early development, and little things that I think now with hindsight, because hindsight is amazing, obviously, being able to reflect and look back on what I thought were turning points within my mediumship. I think some will be really obvious, some less so obvious. It's unscripted, the video, so it's just from memory being recalled. And those I feel are turning points. So I think one of the first turning points very, very early on, way back at the start, would have been the title of medium, owning it rather than being scared of it or embarrassed of it. The light's blowing out. More like accepting the fact, this is what I want to do, this is how I want to go. That was a pretty big turning point, especially in the work element. You got people asking you, what did you do last night, and that sort of stuff, and almost embarrassed to say, oh, I attended a church, or I attended a circle for development. There was I think it was embarrassment. I don't know the emotion that goes with that. But owning it was something that very much started to change the energy. When I owned the fact that this is what I want to do, this is the path I want to take. And then from there, many turning points. It's all changing colour this time of year, isn't it? So I absolutely love it. That's why I've come out today. Enjoyed the coffee. Next turning point, anyway, is something that we all do. I continuously see it, and it would have to be the self-criticism that goes with mediumship. The beating yourself up. I could do a video just on that, I think. So just to touch upon it today, and then I'll maybe do a video in the future on it. Would be when we absolutely beat ourselves up. Why ain't they doing this? Why ain't they doing that? Why am I getting it wrong? Why did I say that? Then we'll maybe have a go at the spirit world or the team or the guide, whatever it is, and this self-beating up all of the time is something that is not very healthy for mediumship, and that battle just commences all the time. It's just a continuous loop of arguing with self, and so I very quickly realised, certainly in my journey, when the accuracy would be quite high. I'd have a good hit rate with my statements, and maybe we've all experienced it, but you'd do one good one, a second good one, a third good one, then the fourth one would just fall on its arse basically, and then do a good fifth one and a good sixth one, and you don't take into account that 1, 2 and 3, 5 and 6 were amazing. You focus on the one that fell on its arse, one that it wasn't any good, or you didn't interpret it properly, and you blame yourself, or you blame the spirit world, or you blame the communicator. It's this passing of the blame. Or the client could have been awkward. The client may not like you. They didn't hear the things that you were saying, or you didn't say it in the way that they wanted to hear it. And so this self-beating up process was inefficient. It was not appropriate for the time, because of the ingredients that are offered. So I learned quickly that the hit rate is good. Stop beating yourself up, embrace the moment, and through that, mediumship just seemed to get easier, better, stronger, and the battle less and less as time went on. making the journey much more fun, much more exciting, and keeping that magic within the mediumship. It looks like it's going to rain, so I'm going to have to get a move on. So next turning point, and as I suggested at the beginning of the video, that it's not going to run in sequence. These are just elements that, from memory, I realised were massive, with the benefit of hindsight, obviously. But the lessons, like lessons in life. Now, one of the hardest aspects, and I honestly believe a lot of people give up or they walk away when certain lessons are being presented, especially when people are coming and going from your life. That may be loved ones, that may be relationships, that may be friends, and the social circles start to change. They start to it's an energy thing, it just doesn't resonate anymore. But these people sometimes have to leave for the new stuff to present itself. There is no way I would have seen where my journey was going. I ask people all the time, especially in the Zoom classes or the actual workshops that I do, and where do you see yourself going? What do you want to do? And most of the people go, well, I just want to do it for my own personal reasons, my own personal development and understanding. And that's exactly what I did. I wanted it to know where my sister was, get an understanding of that. I didn't want the stage or the platform. I didn't want to be locked in a room doing reading after reading after reading. And I certainly didn't think I was going to go on to teach in any capacity. So there was no way I could see what was going to go on. But certain aspects of my life had to change for these things to present themselves. And that meant the dynamic needed to change, who was in my life, who I was involved with, friends, partners, etc. And some of these have to leave. Now this is a tough decision. This is something that is very, very difficult to see ahead of when you're invested emotionally in the moment. It's very difficult to let go. But the new stuff can't enter until the old stuff has sort of left. And that's a very difficult decision to make. So that would definitely come under a turning point. There was a point in my development very early on that I kind of had the intention that if an opportunity arose, as this service, as this is unfolding, I will dedicate to it. I'll be very disciplined. I will do what is required. And so that made it a little bit easier in the process to make these very, very difficult decisions. And they were difficult. Some of them were really hard because emotionally invested or attached in the surrounding, in the current situation. But I always remember saying, but you said you would dedicate, you said you would take opportunity, you said that this, so that made that process a little bit easier. Still very difficult, and I completely understand why some people at that point walk away, give up. They don't want to change that much, or it's impacting them too much. But from the lessons I've learned through the processes that have presented themselves, I wouldn't change a single thing. Another turning point, let's adjust the light for you, that's perfect. Another turning point is feeling enough, feeling adequate, so maybe you're doing readings, maybe you've got a platform demonstration, maybe you've got a ticket event. And there would be certain scenarios where I would have to travel, Italy, Brazil, pretty much most of Europe at this point. And I would have this sense of You know, I hope I'm good enough. I hope I, fulfill expectation. I hope I'm enough, basically. And a turning point would be understanding the investment that you have made, the disciplines that you've incorporated, the development that you've undergone to be able to handle any situation that is thrown at you, whether that be a heckler, a bad student, a disruptive student, whether it be a difficult client. Being able to handle all the mechanics, understand the mechanics, and then deliver them, at that point you're self-empowered, not egotistically or arrogant. I mean, you're equipped with the tools to handle situations. So the self-doubt has to go, it has to leave. We don't ever question, like, am I a good driver? Am I a good fill in the blank? We don't do that in any other facet of our life. Only the spiritual people that do the development, and we again beat ourselves up in that area. So a turning point was recognizing that I have enough, I am enough, and that changes the energy for your work. Another turning point would be, it's difficult to express, but once I learned that where my intention is, I'm in class, I'm doing a reading, I'm creating this discipline. I'm working, I'm not working. So in old-fashioned terms would be open to spirit, closed to spirit. So that discipline was very, very early on for me. And if it touched my mind, I'm saying it. And that I cannot tell you how big a turning point that is for me in my mediumship. When I just said, right, I don't care if I'm going to look stupid. I don't care if I look an idiot. If it touches my mind, I'm saying it. And then the accuracy just through the roof on that. I cannot stress enough for the people doing it. Do not think about it. Do not overanalyze it. Don't logically get caught up in there. Just start the expression, and that will change mediumship. That is a massive turning point for me in my journey. Another big one, one of the harsh lessons really, is understanding that everyone involved in spirituality and mediumship are not what they appear to be. So I learned the hard way, maybe a little bit naive early on, and accepting that mediumship is not all love and light. So the basis of spirituality is to serve other people, to serve that divine, that God, that whatever it is for you, whatever terminology you need there. But that's not the case. You definitely don't find that within the community. If anything, you find a lot more of the polar opposite. So where people say love and light, they don't actually mean love and light. They don't mean that kind of stuff. So that's where this kind of no BS approach come from, was because I was on the tail end of, rumour or, being attacked for whatever reason. There's a ton of reasons, but I learned very quickly to thicken that skin up, distance myself away from any kind of dramas, because you are gonna find dramas, and learning very quickly that it's not what it appears to be. So you have to sort of be the light bearer in that moment. Walk as you talk. Don't say one thing and then do another. Do exactly what you're preaching. And I learned this very, very quickly. Now there will be a lot of scenarios that you can go over. I literally had a class last night, and one student, and she meant it in the most wonderful way. There was an element of naivety there, and she said, but I remember one of my mentors, my tutors, from a very famous place, told me you can't do such thing, you know, whatever that one thing was. And I literally explained to her, but you've just done it. You've just done it, proving that philosophy wrong. It doesn't matter what you hear, what you read, or any of that kind of stuff. It's your truth, your philosophy, and then going with it. That is a massive turning point. If I had listened to everything I was told along the way, I think I would have left a long time ago, or I would be like on the crazy bandwagon with ridiculous rituals, fears, especially fears, and notions that my ego can just flourish because I have been handpicked by God himself to do this job, when I don't believe that is the case from any angle. Birthrights. You've got to understand that you can have it if you want it. And that is a massive turning point in my journey. I've definitely got the next scene for you guys in a moment. Let me add a little bit of light to that. It's changing constantly. It looks awesome up there. Another turning point would definitely be never, ever, ever make it about money. Never, ever. Now, there are so many personal stories that I can give here, but maybe a little bit too intrusive, and I'd end up calling too many people out and getting myself in trouble. So I'll save myself the process there. But never, ever, ever make it about money. So I have done like circles for free, dems for free, readings for free. You know, I give lots and lots back to the community. I mean, the channel being one of them. The channel actually cost me money to do. So the giving back process is an absolute must. But along the way, there will always be these opportunities that seem to arise. You give out and it costs you money. It comes back in different ways. I've watched people only want their name in lights. They only want the stage. They only want the big venue. They only want the large audiences, and they only want to write a book and all of that kind of stuff with this monetary exchange. And it just destroys people. I've seen nice people be destroyed because of a fee, because of money. There are opportunities that I've walked away from, very large sums of money, just because it didn't feel right. And I trust that, I really, really trust that this, although on paper looks amazing and all my problems could be fixed, it's just not right to base the whole thing on a monetary return. So never ever make it about money. Do it from the purity of who you are, and the rewards and the magic will be endless with that kind of setup. So a massive turning point in my journey. Right, I'm coming off the tripod for this one. You've got to have a look at this. This just looks absolutely amazing. So this is just in the woods. Right. And then if I can get the lighting right, whoa, there you go. I think I may have found my new home in the woods. Looking to move. And they've really thought this one out. We've got a front yard, we've got a little wooden picket fence all the way round. It's absolutely amazing. So I'll do the next turning point from here once the tripod's set back up. And maybe the last one, who knows, I've still got a long walk back to the car. Would be comfort zones. A massive, massive turning point. You can hear the motorbike in the background. Finding where I like crowds of people, then, you know, if you're going to be like a demonstrator, you need to be very, very comfortable with crowds and crowds of people. So that would be very uncomfortable for me as an individual. So I started, you know, putting myself in situations that made me feel uncomfortable, and from the process I could then analyze, why was I uncomfortable, what made me uncomfortable, you know, what was the emotional experience I went through there, looked at it, addressed it where possible. Some are a little bit too uncomfortable that it would need more and more work on it all of the time. But it was something that I would consider a major turning point within my journey. Things where I could push the boundaries. So basically what I'm saying now is personal development, unhealed traumas, things that I need to look at that maybe subconsciously I'm avoiding. I didn't know I was avoiding it. I didn't know that it was an issue. I just didn't know. So I would put myself in certain situations that would create that process where it could be highlighted to me, and then look at that, start developing that. And this again is part of a journey that is very, very difficult, and I understand why people avoid. I think it's an absolute must. When we're embracing a spiritual journey, not just to be a famous medium or anything like that, but an actual development, a spiritual process that is going to take a lifetime to get through, I think is an absolute turning point in anyone's career or life. It helps heal all the traumas that you are aware of and unaware of, making you a better, more efficient instrument for the spirit world. And that's what we all want, really. We want to be good, we want to be successful, we want to have like superb accuracy. But to do that, we can't be clouded with our everyday. We can't have traumas and ordeals going on in our life that may taint the reading, whether it be a demonstration or a one-to-one. These things we have to address. We have to look at our integrity, our ethics, the person that we are, and our own logic and our own judgments. Are they getting in the way? Are they getting involved in the mediumship? All of these things fall under personal development, looking at self. And you can only do that when you step just 1 foot out of a boundary that you have created, your comfort zone. The moment you start stepping out, you broaden your boundaries, giving you greater access. You become a better person, a better medium. All round, it's an all-round benefit to do it. You know, massively uncomfortable, but a wonderful process. So I am going to wrap that up here. The road sounds near. You all heard the motorbike, didn't you? So as always, if there is a video that you want, this one I need to thank Carol Massey for putting forward. This is the video for it. Get in the comments. You know I read the comments, and I'm trying to get the schedule back on track for the channel. I miss this kind of thing. It is about to absolutely chuck it down, so I am going to protect the camera and get it back in its bag. So like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you aren't already, and I'll catch you lot in the next video.